Please watch the video in high quality. In this video, we will learn how to scale a plane to fit screen size in Unity. So currently I have a plane and you could see that it's scale default to 1. And if I click play, the scale will change to match the screen ratio and size. And even if I change the resolution or the size of my view to full HD, the the scale will change as well to correspond to the size. So it always will fill your view no matter what. So to start, I will create a plane, right click, and then 3D object, plane. It's just normal plane. I won't change anything else. And then I'll just change the camera to match the plane. So also that we look from the top. So we'll just change the X rotation to 90 and we'll keep the Z to 0 and the Y to something like 20. So we could look at the plane from the top. Then next I'll create a script. So under the assets, I'll create a folder, empty folder. We'll call it scripts. And inside that script, I'll create a C# file, create C#, and I will call it scale plane. And once that C# is created file, I will drag it into my plane game object. And we'll select the game object to make sure that the script is here, and then double click on the file to open it in Visual Studio. Inside the script, I added some lines. I will go through them. So I created a private vector2 variable called screen resolution, so we could keep the track of the screen width and height inside this variable. And at the start, I initiated or add the value for the screen resolution, and its x would be the screen width of that vector2, and its y, it would be screen height, the current screen height, it will get it. And then we'll call the match plane to screen size method that will change or rescale the plane. I will go through it soon. And then inside the update method, we'll check if the screen resolution.x that we just assign here change if it doesn't match the current screen width, because every time we call screen width, it will get us the current screen width as integer. So and the same, we compare our screen resolution that we got from the start when we started the app or game with the current screen height. So if they change, in other words, if the resolution of the screen or the size of the screen change for some reason, it will also recall the match plane to screen size method, and then we'll update the value of the screen resolution for both X and Y. So every time a change in the screen happen or at the start of the game, this method would be called. And this method, what it does, first it gets the distance between the camera and the plane, and that using vector3.distance, and you pass the location of the plane, which is the current game object, because the script is attached to the plane. So we could just call game object.transform.position. That would return the position of the plane, and then we'll get the position of the camera using camera main transform dot position. And because I'm using only the default main camera, so I could just call camera dot main. But if you're using another camera, you can just for example had that camera as a public variable and assign it there and then call it from here. The next step is we have a float called plane height scale. That's for us to get the scale for the plane, because the thing about the plane is when you set it in the editor, there is no width and height for it. There is only a scale. And also, so when the scale is 1 for the X, Y, and Z, that's mean it has 10 units, 10 unity units for the X and 10 unity unit for the Z. And we'll see the translation of that here soon. Okay, so in order to get the scale on the height, we multiply 2 by the 10 of 0.5, which is half the camera field of view, which the camera field of view returned from the main camera. And it is in degree, but we need it in radians, so we multiply it by math f dot degree to radians, and so we'll get the result in radians. And then we multiply that by the distance we got here. And then we divide the whole thing by 10 because as I mentioned, the default plane is in 10 unit on the X and Z. So because it's every 1 unit of a scale is compared to 10 units in this case of the height that will be on the Z. And so we have to divide it by 10. And then also we get the plane width scale by multiplying the plane height scale by the camera aspect ratio, and this would return the width divided by the height of the screen. So now the plane is the game object dot transform dot local scale. It's need a vector 3. We assign a new we say it's a new assign a new vector 3 to it, and we pass the plane width scale we got here. And 1 is because we don't need to scale the y, it's just on the x and z. The y is depth and the plane won't need depth. And then we pass the plane height scale. So if I save and go back to the editor, so now we can see that the plane scale is 1 on the x, y, and z, and x, y, and z, sorry. And if I play, we'll see the plane would scale to match my current screen. And even if I change the aspect ratio to make it full HD, that will still match my view. And if the size of the screen change for some reason, you will see that the plane still match my screen. So that's it. This is how we could scale a plane to fit screen size in Unity using script. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and click the notifications button to help me make more videos like this.